X39 has really changed my life. I'm not stuck at home in pain in bed. I'm out here with my friends and enjoying my family.
Big thank you to Lifeway for helping me, helping my family, and helping the 100 people now in our team who are using Lifeway daily and their families. Big thank you. Love the products.
And I have energy through the roof.
I sleep better. I have so much more energy.
Throughout the day, I can focus better. I can concentrate in my work.
Our church worship service lasts 45 minutes. For the last 2 years, I've not been able to stand that long. 2.5 weeks into wearing the X39 patch, the pastor said, "You can now be seated." It dawned on me at that moment that, my goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
After starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin become younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Gregory, do you want to push record?
It's already recording, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Well, hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to our Tuesday evening program. It's an introduction to a very special company and technology. I'm your co-host, Robin Blank-Muscari, along with Gregory, and we come here every Tuesday night. We hope there are some special guests on the line because we're here to share something that is truly a historic breakthrough. So what we do this evening is Gregory will give a short presentation, and then it'll follow up with one of our special guest practitioners this evening. We're blessed to have Dr. Tom Acklin on with us, and then it's your turn. If you have stories or questions to share, please put them in the chat, and remember, symptoms only. So I'm going to turn things over to you, honey.
Great. Well, thanks, Robin, and good evening, everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get our little show on the road, because we're here to talk to you about activating your stem cells. And this is very exciting information. And it really hit a chord with me personally, because I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, and that's younger. And maybe you feel the same way. And let me ask you a personal question before we get started. If anything were possible, if you could wave a magic wand, and if there was one thing you'd choose to experience differently in your health, or maybe in the someone you love and care for, you know, what would that be? And what difference would it make for you or them if that were to change? And stem cells just might be the key to that difference. So real quickly, I just want to make a note that our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, cure any disease. They do, however, bring our body into a healthier state to help it heal itself. So with that being said, let's just get on with our presentation. And welcome to the Stem Cell Revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And we found that stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that helps to repair and regenerate damaged cells throughout our entire body. All of our organs, glands, muscles, bones, eyes, you know, everywhere throughout our body, stem cells are the key. Now, sadly, here's the sad news. The problem is, the older we get, the less stem cells we have, and by age 60, only a small percentage remain, and the faster we age and the slower we heal. That's why a young lad falls down, skins his knee, and 3 days later, the scab falls off. Grandma falls down, skins her knee, and breaks her hip, and she's lucky to ever get out of the hospital. Well, so what about stem cell injections? Because they become quite popular. But, you know, stem cell injections can be expensive, painful, risky, controversial. And you know what? There's no guaranteed results. You could spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars with no guaranteed results. Well, the good news we have to share with you tonight is you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with our historic breakthrough in affordable stem cell activation. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, and drug-free, patented form of phototherapy, which uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve stem cell activity. Now, this is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt, who's not only a brilliant scientist and researcher. David's a genius inventor with over 130 patents and patent pendings. He's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research for over 20 years, and he's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of our LifeWave phototherapy technologies, and many more studies are always in the works because David and LifeWave is a very science-based company and founder. The company was started 18 years ago as an advanced research and development company focused in the field of health sciences. The first product was developed for Navy SEALs to increase their strength, stamina, and performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. And it turned out to be so effective, it's now used by professional and amateur athletes around the world, weekend athletes, and our corporate headquarters, laboratory, and manufacturing is in California, Utah, and Ireland. And we already have distribution of over 75 countries with 15 global distribution centers. So the word's getting out, and pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport are enjoying the benefits of LifeWave products. They may not talk about it very much because for some of them, it's their competitive edge, like Serena Williams, like soccer star David Beckham, and Michael Phelps and his whole team of swimmers, Olympic swimmers. And they're all experiencing enhanced performance and rapid recovery. So let's talk about how this amazing technology actually works. And it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. That's kind of a mouthful, but put very simply, LifeWave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when they're applied or near our body, they're activated by our body heat, and then they begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulates targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in the body. So this is called photobiomodulation, and it is the basis for our LifeWave phototherapy patches and technology. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that different frequencies of light can cause very specific changes within our body. For example, we all know when we go out in the sun, a specific frequency of light causes our body to make vitamin D. We don't get a download of vitamin D from the sun. We get a download of a light frequency, and our body makes that vitamin D. And likewise, another frequency of light, or UV, causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan and protects us from sunburns. Now, LifeWave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid, widely recognized scientific principle. My PowerPoint's going a little slow tonight. So our focus for the last 14 years has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And a few years ago, we released to the global market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch, which truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation. Some are calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science because we are doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies in big pharma have not been able to do. The LifeWave X39 patch activates a very specific copper peptide that activates our body's own stem cells while also altering gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. So this has been a total game changer for LifeWave and for the people that have been experiencing the benefit of X39. It's a true breakthrough. And our inventor, founder, and CEO, David Schmidt, says this is my greatest accomplishment yet, with an emphasis on yet, because, he's working on so many other wonderful developments. And so, yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for baby boomers like me, that's very, very exciting news. So, Robin, that's our brief summary for this evening. So I'm going to turn things back over to you and our dear friend, Dr. Acklin.
Thank you, Gregory. That was wonderful. It's interesting, as many times as I've heard that, I always hear something new. And I hope everyone else does too. And I hope you guys were taking notes because there's some great things on there. Well, I get to introduce a birthday boy today, and he's sharing his birthday with us. Are we lucky or what? This world was definitely blessed this day he was born. Is he on, honey? So, Dr. Tom Acklin, who is our guest this evening. Have you found Dr. Tom?
No, I haven't looked. I thought you did.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay. Well,
I'll let you find him. We're going to go hunt for.
Raise your hand. There you are, right at the top.
Okay. As we're hunting for Dr. Tom and acknowledging this amazing being, let me tell you a little bit about him. He was traditionally trained in the allopathic world as an MD, a neurologist, and he has transitioned into more of the healthy world and really realizing that our body is truly a miracle. And so many of the challenges that we have stem from a microbiome that's not very happy. Our world is filled with things that make it unhappy. And so he's here to educate people on mind, body, spirit, and healthy food. Food is medicine, food is poison. He's got this humongous heart. He's a gift to our community and a gift to the planet. And we are so grateful to have you, birthday boy. Happy birthday.
I'm so grateful to have you. Thank you, Robin. Hi.
Hi. Have you had a good day?
I had a fantastico work play day.
Work play. Okay.
I've been telling folks I have a pretty full calendar this week, extra full, because I'm trying to leave town Friday to head out to a very special workshop in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, that has to do with energetic water, energetic medicine, and how we put the body back into a place where the cytoplasm of all our cells is actually the driving force. I probably wouldn't have said that, except a lot of these technologies put the body in a place where it has the capacity to say X and produce X. And the body itself is almost the accident.
Interesting. Okay. Well, the other thing I didn't say is you are a consummate learner. You're constantly educating yourself. Well, this is, I love it. You are always growing, learning, and sharing wonderful things with all of us. So let's jump in, okay?
Please.
Birthday boy, you want to share how many years you are?
I told somebody earlier today I was 58, and he said, "Oh, you're just a babe." And you should have seen me when I was 45. I was one of those docs that didn't know how to take care of myself, and miserable and gray and getting younger every year. So I hope I look almost like a 58-year-old now. And I'm just like you say, we get better and better and younger and stronger. So look at me this time next year.
Yeah. When I was at the gym today, my trainer says, I can't, I'm not sure you can do things. And then you always do them. You always surprise me. So isn't that fun to get younger and stronger? I'm with you on that one. So Dr. Tom, you came into LifeWave several years ago, and I think a friend and colleague introduced you. What is it that got you excited about this technology?
Well, I'd been following stem cell technologies for a while. I haven't written a prescription in about 15 years, and I started working in therapeutics that actually enhance the body and put the body back into a place where it heals. And I like to say that if you didn't come out of mama with it, it's not a disease, it's a condition. It's an acquired condition.
Interesting.
And so we've come to sort of shrug our shoulders and say, oh, well, yeah, it runs in the family. And I've been following these kinds of conversations for about a decade. And I'd worked with stem cell transplants. So I put the body back into a place where we functionally regenerative, metabolically competent, and we rebuild at 100 trillion cells per day. We also let go at 100 trillion cells, sorry, half a trillion cells. We have a total of 100 trillion. We let go of 300 to 500 billion a day. So I've been following this and paying attention and tweaking in various nutritional regimens and food as medicine regimens, putting the body into ketogenesis so it actually does have repair capacity. And I'd known about stem cells and I'd known about GHK copper peptide. And as Gregory so brilliantly explained right there, people have been chasing up regulators for GHK copper peptide for half a century, right? That's the Holy Grail. And when my friend Anne Moreau called me and she said, "Have you heard about this?" I was intrigued. It was also the first year of COVID. I was incredibly busy, and it was the last thing I needed to do was to look at another new technology and the learning curve that goes with that, right? But I'll tell you, I saw this week an old interview. You actually were interviewing Gregory, and he was talking, it was about 4 years ago, and he was talking about the emergence of X39 and how this was already at that point a 15-year-old company that he called a 15-year-old company that's just like a startup. And all of a sudden, and the just phenomenal growth that we've gone through in the past couple of years with the emergence of X39. And it's only that curve is only getting exponentially more quick. So it didn't take much. I saw the science. I saw David Schmidt. I saw him speak. The man is not only brilliant, he's just a wonderful creature. He speaks in ways that, yes, he's a scientist, but lots of people call him other things too. And he's really a leader. He's a leader. He's a thought leader. He's an ethics leader. And he's the moral compass of, I think, scientific inquiry coming down the pike. Really,
I gotta write that down.
We're going to change the way, and we got to change our ways. We need a good paddling, as my grandmother used to say. A lot of scientists kind of fell into lockstep at the early part of their careers, and they never saw that as giving away who they were. David didn't do that, and plenty of other folks don't do that too. And that's the other thing I saw. So I saw folks like you who have been committed to this for so many years and know the industry and know the dynamics and certainly know conscious communities and what servant leadership means. And you put all that together, people are so hungry for that right now. That was a big selling point for me, was the community.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we have this moral compass in the science world of our leader and founder. That's beautiful. We have this amazing community, which we do. You've got the science, and a friend and colleague introduced you. So let's jump in and talk about the star of the show a little bit, X39. Who is this amazing technology for, and who isn't it for?
I know you love asking that question, and I was pondering it earlier, and I thought I'd just ask a question. And what if we really could face to face with full courage and not trying to prove anything to our loved ones, and friends and colleagues, and not yet friends, strangers in the grocery aisle. What if we could really say, what's bugging you today? Almost everybody comes up with an answer, yeah? So who it's for is, if you got something bugging you, whether that be physical or emotional or social or interpersonal, this is for you. The technology is it's for high performance athletes, as we saw in the opening. It's for folks who are in great shape, who realistically know they're going to be better, right? Highest performance, leading edge. It's also for folks who are not in good shape, who at some level know they're going to be better, but don't talk about it quite a bit, right? Because they've learned to accept their condition and their path. But it's for folks, if you really ask 2 or 3 questions of people, and if you could wave a magic wand and be off those meds in a year, would you do that? Almost everybody would say yes. If you could turn back the clock 10 years, would you do that? Almost everybody would say yes. So it's for folks who can answer the question. And if they say no, nothing's bugging me, that's probably not for them. And anybody who's on the call here tonight, you're definitely in the right place. I would guess that almost everybody's got some version of higher power that brought you here, and that might be a very good friend who was insistent that you say hello.
So it's safe and it's available for everybody. Yes,
It's definitely safe. There's nothing in the patch that gets into the skin. So this is not a chemical interference. So it's not a transdermal, and there's not a chemical effect, a biochemical effect. So there's no interactions with anything. I would add that for folks who are incredibly fragile, and anybody who's being intentionally immunosuppressed for some reason, if you're getting ready for an organ transplant, et cetera, and your doc's got you on a very, very careful regimen, probably not a good time, although talk it over with your doc, and there's plenty of reasons to do it. It's just that most docs don't speak these languages and don't know what to do with it, right? So in that case, defer to the doc. And since we brought up docs, what I like to tell people is ask your doc to be your partner as you're starting this. Yeah. And say, doc, you don't ask your doc if you can do it, because he's not going to know what it is, he or she. But you say, you know what, I've decided to do this. I've seen the testimonies, I've seen the myriad silos in which people recover. I definitely want to do this. Would you do really nice comprehensive blood work and whatever else they're following now? And I'm going to do this for 3 to 6 months. We'll do follow-up blood work, and you can help me decide if it's working.
That is so beautiful, to engage your doctor or practitioner as your partner and get a really good baseline. We have a health tracker. A blood panel is a great idea for anyone who's just getting started. And then in 6 months or so, what do you say, 3 to 6 months, do a follow-up blood panel. I think you're going to be delighted is the word. Yes, we've heard such amazing stories. It's so wonderful. And, the question always comes up, well, when do I get to notice something from using this technology?
Well, you get to notice something tomorrow morning. It might not necessarily be the thing that you noticed. And there is a momentum, just like any novel intervention. We like to tell people 90 days minimum. Often folks see things in the first week. Often folks see things in the first day. I'll tell you a great story. One lady who's a brand new partner with us, colleague with us, and she's been on X39 for less than a month. And she was essentially on the couch and debilitated with several conditions that we can't say because we're not allowed to talk about diagnoses or anything. Her husband would go off to work. She'd be in one position. He'd come back from work. She'd be in the same position. And he came back from work after about a week of her using X39. And she had just gotten back from a full day at the laundromat. And he said, "What happened to you?" Yeah. So folks get it. It's a spectrum. Just we're all different. And depending on how well you've been treating yourself, depending on how long you've been down in the dumps, it may take a bit. Folks who are in good shape and tend to treat themselves sacredly notice those sacred tendings more subtly, which is really interesting. You put X39 on and the yoga class feels different. We had a great story last week about a meditation, a lady who felt something very wonderful in her meditation, longtime practitioner, things like that. So it's different for everybody, but stay in close touch. That's the other beautiful part of this, is that we like to hold your hand along the way and hear your stories. And that health tracker is very important. I like to talk to people about just 2 or 3 sentences in the morning. It's if it's a practice you already have, you'll take to that quite easily. And if it's a practice you don't have, that's actually another really nice sacred self-care habit.
Beautiful. So you want everyone to give it some time. Some people notice things right away. Some people don't. It's always working. That health tracker that you mentioned can give people some ideas of what to pay attention to. And I love that idea of first thing in the morning, a few lines of what are you noticing? How are you feeling? It's a wonderful, wonderful practice for people because like you said earlier, Dr. Tom, it's cumulative. It just gets better and better over time. I mean, I didn't realize that this deformed finger was going to do that. It's like, it surprises all the time, which is really, really, really wonderful. Now, are there any negative side effects for people on using this technology?
The technology itself lets our bodies tell the truth. And so without calling it a negative, and I'm excuse me, the kind of practitioner who likes to say that inflammation is the instructor, right? When we have something that we think is we've learned to demonize, it's almost always because we can't face the truth of it. But meeting life on life's terms and actually being able to handle the inflammation, that's how we repair a new lesion. That's how we ongoingly repair micro damage from blood pressure changes throughout the day after an exercise routine. Perfectly normal when we're constantly regenerating. So is that a negative? I would say it's not a negative. And it's easy for me to say, well, Aunt Gloria should probably be able to feel the results of her having a few extra cigarettes yesterday, right? Then that's all to say that the negative, the quote negative, is that you start to feel life better. Your senses are deeper. Your physiologic capacity is better. Your gut instinct is stronger. And so that thing that you think is your favorite food might not ever make it in your front door again, right? You might be driving past the place that you think is your favorite restaurant, like that. And then part two of that really is that, again, fragile folks who are multiply medicated, you want to do this with your doc as a partner, because just like the technologies help everything else work better, they also help medications work better. And unfortunately, we all know, in addition to the therapeutic effect of the pharmaceutical, there's a downside to the pharmaceutical. And often that will effectively bring a higher bioavailability to the med itself.
Well, that's really eloquent. That was exquisite, because the dimensions of benefits are multiple, like you said, and you may be making different choices because you're feeling better, and so many other things just keep getting better. Any other final comments before we jump into some of the stories and questions in the Q&A?
I'd love to hear a couple of stories. Yeah, success stories are what we're all about.
Let's see if we have any. Okay, let me start out with Kathleen. She is saying, I am having double vision and other challenges. No diagnosis, just a lot of ugly symptoms. What do you recommend?
X39, without knowing the whole story. X39 is game one. Stay in real nice communication with the person who shared this with you. And we have some other technologies and great success stories, even from practitioners, shockingly recovering from conditions that the docs say you're going to have this for the rest of your life and it's going to get worse. And there are things we can do. So pat, it's okay. We'll take care of you. No, there's freedom from the bondage of doc.
We hear it on a regular basis. Like when I went to my ophthalmologist, he says, well, you can't, if you have, that film growing over your eyes, it can't go backwards. And I said, doctor, in your world it can't, but in my world it can. And isn't that wonderful that we have something?
We also have a technology for pain relief. It's a 2-patch system called IceWave. And often folks will take to putting the IceWave right on their temples. These are total body activation technologies. And so it doesn't technically matter where you put the X39. You can even put it in your pocket. It doesn't have to be physically on the skin even. You can, on your pets, you can put it on the collar like that. But the IceWave technology tends to complete the inflammation cycle. So a lot of times people are on meds that actually that get in the way of the inflammation cycle, because the doc, again, has demonized the inflammatory and calling it a pathology. That's not a pathology. That's a healthy body saying, we're trying to bring repair steroids. We're trying to bring repair lipids. We're trying to bring cell messengers. And IceWave actually does that. We don't talk about that a lot, but when somebody puts a steroid on board, here's the inflammatory cycle, right? Pain starts, lesion, pain starts, and doc, I can't handle it anymore. Steroids on board, anti-inflammatory, Tylenol, whatever that is, pulls it back. Our technologies actually help the body complete the cycle. So we open up the transduction, the cell-to-cell induction communications such that they are hungry to be fed, and that optimizes the microcirculation there. And then all of a sudden you're actually getting the repair molecules to the places they're trying to get to.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Okay. Judy, my 82-year-old mother's in the hospital with bacteria in her blood and that thing that's been going around for the last several years. What patches should she use?
Yeah. I heard David a while ago talking about the loneliness of that thing that's going around, and especially folks dropping out of their routines. And there's a beautiful dynamic, which I won't go into the details of it, but X39 actually, sorry, not X39, our patch called Nirvana, which we market for mood, upregulates the endorphins, the catecholamines, which are the mood and thought neurocognitive, or dopamine or serotonin. Those beta endorphins, first of all, they're dozens of times more powerful than morphine and opioids, and let the body actually heal itself and take itself out of pain. In addition to doing what I just described, which is mobilizing, okay, put the body in forward motion. But the other thing it does is there's a beautiful cross-reference with collagen activation. So for a lot of fascia dysfunction and a lot of connective tissue dysfunction, Nirvana is a wonderful biomechanical. And that, I'll just say one thing about that. So many of our technologies are under marketed, and it's certainly not because David doesn't know what they are, and our science team and the companies certainly know what they are, but there are a lot of things that we're just not allowed to say. And there are a lot of companies that got in trouble because the feds came down pretty hard on folks just even talking generally about immune function. Natural products companies never got in trouble before talking about immune function, right? And with whatever the agenda is that was going on these past couple of years, the feds got really, you're going to be quiet now, Mr. You're going to be quiet now, Mr. Health Practitioner. Don't be talking about increasing immune function. But yeah, the deeper you look into these technologies, the more you'll see. Certainly X39, Nirvana would be a great addition, both, well, for many reasons. And if I start talking about SP6, I might not stop, but we have one of the top hormone modulators on the planet. And we're not allowed to say that out loud very often, but if you look at the technology called SP6, it's marketed for cravings. Yeah. It's great for blood sugar issues. It's great for putting the body in ketogenesis, and it puts the body in a place where it can trade the necessary precursor hormones for the thing that the body's asking for in the moment. Because somebody who's metabolically compromised can't make the molecule that's being called for from the precursor. SP6 gives the body the ability to do that.
Beautiful. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. An anonymous attendee wants to know, what patches do you suggest for hard formations or prevention of hard formations associated with the kidney?
Yeah. Well, don't be anonymous. Make yourself known and stay really nicely hydrated. So that's with all of these technologies. We forgot to say that tonight. We really like to keep the body.
That question.
Yeah, we really like to keep the body in a place where its vascular tree is full. And all of those cell delivery and cell removal dynamics that we're working on, when the blood vessels are full, think of it like a balloon. When you're well hydrated, you got good minerals that came from good food. And I like to say, stay very salty. You can't be afraid of being salty. You can put the technology called energy enhancer right at the adrenals, right on the kidneys. It's a 2-patch system. It's the first one that David created 20 years ago, and it's the one that helps all of the athletes. And it's really great. Mostly we talk about mitochondrial function, and mitochondrial function uprig equals the let go. It gives the tissues the ability to do that. And the 2-patch systems are very nicely triangulated. So you could try energy enhancer at the adrenals or at the lower back, tan on left, white on right, with an X39 under the belly button. So think of that as being a nice energetic Faraday cage for your abdominal. And again, one of my favorite things to do is to put SP6 right at the perineum there, behind the sex organs, for so many different functions and so many different concerns. That's actually a really nice adjunct there as well, and that'll incentivize the body to properly not be scared, because most of the stones, most of the are because the body is preferentially holding on because it doesn't think it has enough, and so it ends up sequestering something that it really isn't deficient in, but the tissues themselves don't know that there's plenty. So once you turn on the peripheral tissues, the tissues are alive, they know there's plenty, then the kidney says, okay, cool, we got word that we can let this go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just learned a whole bunch. Oh my goodness.
That's good stuff in there.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great stuff. All right. Judy would like to know what patches are good for impaired cognitive function.
Oh, all of them. X39 for sure. We market a patch called Eon for stress and anxiety. And Eon itself is fantastic for the entire nervous system balance. And X49, which is only a year old, the X39 sister patch, which we didn't talk about tonight. X39 upregulates GHK copper peptide, AHK copper peptide is upregulated by X49. And 49, I've been playing with this. I don't know if this is going to be kosher, Robin. You can put the yank on me if this doesn't come out properly. But I've been playing with the distinction that X39 is really for the tissues that are not yet formed. It certainly helps the tissues that are formed, right? But we're stem cell up. X49 is really, really great for tissues that are already formed. So bone, muscle, brain, X49 is a great, great adjunct. And if you're courageous enough to go out in public, I've worked with plenty of folks with the X49 on the back of the neck and Eon right here. And we even have a hat protocol that you can put together. But X49 is great for brain.
Beautiful.
And most cognitive dysfunctions appeared in the first place because of a metabolic problem and an inflexibility. We put that flexibility back together. And again, the ketogenesis and the SP6, and you put the repair lipids in the body in a place where they can make it to the target tissues, and those things disappear.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Yeah. David calls X49 carnosine on steroids.
Yeah.
We used to recommend carnosine with X39, and now it's X49. Isn't that wonderful? And there is a study on cognitive function in the on the website lifewave.com that shows that over time consistent improvements in cognitive function happen with X39. So go for it. Okay, Carola. Hello, Dr. Tom. Can't it be true that one can test a patch like glutathione with a machine like bioresonance that the body does not react to it? When a person only has used a few that's a question mark. When a person only has used a few patches, yet I know when he had it on his throat notch, his body was reacting to it. Do you understand that? I'm not sure.
No, but I'll just say the technologies are working even if we don't notice them. They work
Yep.
immediately as soon as you're holding it in your hand before the thing. And we have plenty of clinical trials that show the effect, and depending on the machine, depending on the analysis that they're looking at, they might not be looking at the right thing. So I would say the short answer is yes, of course. There's plenty of reasons why you wouldn't, quote, see the effect. Does that mean the effect's not there? No, it's there.
Great. Okay, thank you, thank you. Brenda, are there any issues if you wear a positive patch on the left side of the body and a negative on the right side of the body, i.e. SP6 on the right and Nirvana on the left of the body, long-term as opposed to occasionally? Good, interesting question, Brenda. Thank you.
That's a very interesting question, and I'm not expert enough in the meridians to say so. But I do like to suggest to people that they change the placements. We have several suggested placements that come with the booklets that come with the patches, and several different placements that have been clinically tested. And I like folks to mix it up a little bit. I call it shake it up the snow globe.
Okay.
I will share this, since one of my clients the other day was asking about left, right in a Chinese medicine, a yin yang way, and left being the female side, the yin, right being the male side in traditional medicines. And when we talk about SP6 on the left side, we're optimizing our sex steroids. We're optimizing our pre-pro hormones in our cholesterol tree to build estrogens. And if you think of that, almost a metabolic permissiveness, if you will, of the body, and being a left side thing, and then the creation is right side.
Interesting.
That just came up as an idea, and I'd love to hear feedback from anybody who knows anything about it.
It is fascinating because SP6 is recommended on the left side and Nirvana on the right, and I don't know why. SP6 on the left, so worthy of pursuing. Okay, next is Martha. She says, my niece was in a boating accident, fell in an oyster bed, oh my goodness, which caused extensive tissue damage on thigh and abdomen and is waiting skin grafts. She's currently using X39 Eon and glutathione. Is there anything else you'd recommend?
SP6 and 49.
Great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Here's another anonymous. Patches for tingling, painful feet and low back pain after a year or two of some treatment for those bad cells in the prostate.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So that previous scenario, we're activating Nirvana and the fascia. Post-surgical is painful enough, and there's local scar tissue, and then you get peripheral from the sequestered nerves in the sacral outlet. And then depending on how successful and clean the prostate treatment was, you might want to try that same thing. Energy enhancer at the base of the spine and or ice wave. You can alternate, do energy enhancer one day, do ice wave the second day at the base of the spine, tan left, white on right, with an SP6 right on the perineum and X39 on the front under the belly button, and Nirvana somewhere.
Wow, that's fascinating. What amazing protocol.
It's called outlet syndrome.
It's what?
It's outlet syndrome. It's the nerves that leave that are supposed to be able to fully communicate as they're leaving.
Wonderful. Okay.
And so it feels like the feet hurt. The feet don't hurt. The back hurts.
Judy's asking, which patches can protect me from jabbed coworkers?
Oh, get them to our next seminar.
Yeah, David did some amazing work and has a great, he's done some testing to realize that the patches really make a difference. So
They really do.
help her get protected.
Glutathione is outstanding. Glutathione is our master antioxidant in the body, and it's the driver for all the other antioxidants. And 39 and 49 both have some very nice immune competence upregs as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Ravel wants to know, would you please comment on the importance of 12 hours on only and 12 hours off?
Well, as powerful as the technologies are, we really are incentivizing the body to do the work. And so the off component is very important. So the body remembers it's doing the work.
From the official Orthodox.
Let's see, there's noise coming from, I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, I do want to make a comment that I noticed. Someone said, Marava, that I thought they were getting rid of Nirvana. So let me just update everyone. There were 2 emails that went out recently, and the second one is the correct one. Nirvana patches will be temporarily unavailable once they're out of the current inventory until David does some additional clinical tests, and then Nirvana patch only without the supplement will be coming back. We don't have a date when that will happen. I want to thank all of you that filled out the petition. I know that's going to help David in his research, because a lot of us really love that patch, and it has done so much good in so many ways. So it's not going away. It may, if you absolutely, must have it, stock up right now. And the supplements will be going away, the seaweed supplements. So know that if you, want them right now, you can order until the end of June. Okay. And we'll just do a few more because we're way past. And we're way past, and you're staying up really late. So I'm so grateful on your birthday. We'll just do one more. I have had this from Megan. I have had a bad shoulder inflammation and bone spurs trying to avoid surgery. Suggestions with bone spurs.
If you've been on 39 for a while, definitely 49 and SP6. And given what I just said about Nirvana, again, it's surprising that Nirvana is coming up so much tonight, but it's a great idea. And again, Eon is so stabilizing for both nerve, the sensations of nerve pain, but it's also an autonomic stabilizer. So your return to center is compromised post-surgical, and with many other conditions as well. And so so Eon can be a very, very good start. If you haven't been on X39 for a while, you might actually want to start with Eon first for a couple of days, give your body a nice little safety net, and then start the other technology, start the X39 slowly.
Wow. Well, thank you. And thank you for staying up late on your birthday.
Well, thank you for letting me babble on. I get so excited. I go way past what we think is our deadline.
You are a gift to all of us, and the world was blessed this day you were born, Dr. Tom. Thank you.
Thank you
for taking time to be with us on your birthday. And thank you all for being with us this evening. And for those of you that are guests, we encourage you to get back to the person who invited you and get started. This is a great call to bring your guests, because as you can see, it's very educational, a great overview from Gregory. And then our guest practitioners are always brilliant and educational also. And if it's just for yourself, we have a wonderful customer program. We actually have several. Find the one that fits best for you. And then if you're the kind of person that likes to share, we have a very wonderful compensation program for our brand partners. So thank you everyone for spending the time with us this evening. A special gift to be with you on your birthday, Dr. Tom. Thank you.
Well, Robin, I have to throw in one more thing.
Yes.
I'm scrolling quickly through the chat, and Deborah Louise wrote, what about X49 for loss of muscle mass? And I don't know if she's joking or not, but muscle is spelled MUSSEL. And since we were talking oysters earlier, My wish is for everybody to wear your X39 and X40. If you wear your X49 here as you're going out onto the fishing pier, you might get some free oysters.
I think I'll try it. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Bye,
Yep.
everyone.
Good night.